Well, happy Saturday to all of you watching. I'm sitting here with somebody very special to the Vogt family, particularly my wife, Holly Yue. And I want to just share a couple thoughts with you before Holly and I chat. But 3 weeks from today, we're going to do a little movie night at our house. Some of you were there last year. We did it as a benefit for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for part of the Man of the Year campaign that I was part of. This year I've nominated a candidate, Perry Palmadesi, who is running and doing a great job, and so he'll be there on the 27th of April. So we'll give you some more information about how you can attend that. But what I wanted to do today is just have a little chat with our good friend Holly, and just to get to know her a little bit, and why at the end of the day you might want to consider giving support, and or if you're a supporter of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, maybe digging a little deeper, quite frankly. So Holly and I are just going to have a little chat, and we'll see where this goes. So how the heck are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Actually pretty good.
Good. So, I get updates from the camera lady here, Kelly Vogt, quite often. Sometimes they're very joyful, and sometimes they're a little tearful.
Oh.
And so last year you were there for the movie night.
Yes.
We had a great time, great turnout.
Yeah, it was a fabulous event.
Yeah, and I hear you're not coming this year. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So tell us about that. What's keeping you from showing up this year?
I will be in the hospital at that point.
Okay.
Receiving my, well, probably at that point getting chemo, and then followed by a stem cell transplant.
Okay. That sounds pretty complicated.
Oh, it depends how you look at it, I guess.
So you were diagnosed with lymphoma when?
In August of 1997.
1997. 16 years ago?
Yeah,
Almost.
in August it will be 16
so
years.
16.
Yes.
So you have an anniversary coming up.
I do.
So 16 years ago. And if we sort of went back to that time, what were your thoughts when you first heard you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? Is that correct?
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. A little bit surprised. My children were young then. Of course, that ran through my head. I'm not gonna see my children graduate high school and get married and all that. So there was, a little sadness about the possibility of that.
Right.
But as time went on, I realized that this is really more of a what's the word? Kind of a chronic disease. At that point, they had just decided that they weren't going to initially treat with chemo because that's what they've been previously doing.
Right.
The doctors decided to do a watch and wait with this type of lymphoma.
Yeah.
And which has been a huge blessing. So they wait till the disease gets to the point where it's causing, health issues and where your quality of life is not really acceptable. And then they decide to treat.
Right.
So I began treatment, and that was a huge blessing too, is having that many years without any major symptoms. I mean, I had little things going on, but nothing major.
Right.
So about 4 years ago, I started, pretty much had treatment off and on most of that time.
So your treatment over the last 4 years, has that been drug therapy, chemotherapy? What's that been all about?
Different kinds of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
I started with a CHOP-R, which is kind of the standard for lymphoma. And then I was fortunate to do some trials, and also had the benefit of drugs that Leukemia and Lymphoma Society have funded research for, including Rituxan, which has been like a standard of my care over the last 4 years. It's always been a part of all the treatments I've had.
So there's one thing I don't want to miss in all this, because you keep using the word blessing, and so you have a deep faith in God. Is that right?
Yes, very much.
So aside from the fact that we know that He's kept you alive, He's also, obviously created some amazing doctors who've been able to, through research, create some amazing drugs to keep you alive.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And so 16 years ago, some of those things that exist today didn't.
Right, or they were in the trial
Or,
stages
yeah.
back then and not approved by the FDA yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, I think it was about this time last year that they were going to do a bone marrow transplant.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
And they had a match or a couple of matches?
They had several possible matches, but
Yeah.
when I got right down to the, getting all the points matched up, there weren't any that were close enough.
Right.
So
And that was just about a year ago.
that was
right?
about a year ago,
Yeah.
and so doctors have decided we're going to go this way instead because they don't want the cancer to become active again.
Yeah.
And this is it's a good option. It's probably going to offer a fairly long remission, and
Right.
in the way that research is going these days, by the time it
Right.
may come back,
Yeah.
there'll be other options out there.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Okay. So, aside from yourself, I mean, obviously you're the one that was diagnosed 16 years ago, and you've been fighting this thing. But there's obviously been some other people in your life that have been affected by this, right? I'm guessing your husband Brian. This is probably hasn't been an easy thing for him, right?
No, and he's been an awesome caregiver. I mean, that's you don't really, I think, know what people are made of until you go through something like this and you see how they respond to the trials in life. So
How about your friends, folks around you? Like again, the camera lady. What have you seen?
the camera lady over there has been a wonderful, very, very dear friend of mine.
What's been the impact? I mean, what sort of impact have you seen though in the lives of those around you, your friends that love you and adore you?
They've been an amazing support system, and I think that's a good amount of time, and I think over that time, I have a lot of dear friends that are faithful also, and I think I've seen that relationship with many of them, their relationship with God grow over that time, and it's been really beautiful to see.
Has it been hard on any of them to watch you go through this though?
Well, I hate to say it, but I think that it has.
Yeah. I can tell you it has. So, I think really the point, and sometimes it's easy to miss, right? Because there's the person in you that's been going through this, but you are a mom, you're a wife, you're a friend, you're a sister.
Right.
And again, I think it goes without saying when we think about finding a cure, right, which takes money, and I wish it didn't, right? I wish we didn't have to do all this fundraising, quite frankly. But it does take money. So the impact goes way beyond the Holly Yues of the world, right? I mean, it goes to their loved ones at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely. In fact, I sometimes think it's harder for those around, those that love the person going through the treatment than it is for the actual person themselves.
So what would you say to somebody that's watching this video right now in terms of supporting Leukemia and Lymphoma Society? First of all, you think that's a good idea?
Well, I think it's a great idea. I mean, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has done some really amazing things over the years, and it's a good organization, and they're doing really positive things, and they're helping patients, not just with research, but at their level, with needs of, individual support. So.
Okay. So here's the deal. I'm gonna ask you. Holly can't be there again on the 27th, but I'm going to ask you to come to the event. Again, you might be on our lawn right now watching this video because we're going to play it that night too. But I'm going to ask you to come to the event. The one thing that I learned last year is leukemia and lymphoma. Unfortunately for our society, it is literally everywhere. It's affecting somebody that you know. It's affected somebody you know. Again, I would love to say we can do this. We can find a cure without money, but that's just not the case. Research takes a lot of money to be able, frankly, to continue Holly's story. So whatever you can do. Again, the event that we're doing at our home is for the Man of the Year nominee, Perry Palmadesi, but this transcends really, frankly, all of us. So I would ask you to support Perry to help Holly and to help her family and keep this deal going. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I always have something to say. I just, I have to give God a plug in this, because if it hadn't been for cancer, I wouldn't know God. And so that has been the biggest blessing of my life. So I really thank Him for this cancer and all of it. And not only for me, but I think the people around me that have been, that have grown closer to Him because of this. So.
Yeah, God's pretty amazing. He does use everything for good, doesn't He?
He certainly does.
All right, with that, we're going to say farewell, and again, we'd love your support. Have a wonderful day.